Ava Majury stepped into the glowing allure of TikTok in 2020. She was just 13 years old. Her vibrant energy and relatable content quickly captivated a vast audience, a common narrative in the age of viral fame. Soon her follower count swelled, surpassing the 1 million mark, a digital kingdom built on fleeting video clips and catchy tunes. With this burgeoning popularity came financial opportunities. Sponsors noticed her reach, and Ava began to earn significant income, reportedly around $1,000 for each paid promotional video in her first year alone. It was a dizzying ascent for someone so young, a testament to the power of social media to transform ordinary lives into public spectacles, often before the full implications of such exposure could be truly understood or processed by the very individuals at the center of it. Into this whirlwind of likes, shares, and newfound status, a shadow began to stretch. Eric Rohan Justin, an 18-year-old from Maryland, was one among Ava's legion of followers. His initial interactions seemed innocuous, typical of online fandom. He reached out through various channels, Snapchat, Instagram, and even by joining online gaming sessions with Ava's brothers. These early touchpoints were unremarkable on their own, easily lost in the daily deluge of notifications and messages that a popular content creator receives. Yet, beneath this veneer of casual engagement, an unhealthy fixation was taking root, a dangerous obsession that would slowly, methodically, begin to encroach upon Ava's life, far beyond the confines of the screen where their connection had first been forged. Justin's pursuit intensified. He sought more than just a fleeting digital connection. He wanted proximity, information. He managed to obtain Ava's personal phone number and even photographs of her by contacting her former classmates from her time in Jersey City, New Jersey. This demonstrated a disturbing level of dedication to his intrusive quest. In a decision that would later be viewed through the lens of tragic hindsight, Ava's parents reportedly approved Justin paying $300 for 2 photographs of Ava. These were not private images, but rather pictures already available on her public Instagram profile. The transaction, seemingly minor at the time, perhaps viewed as an eccentric fan's harmless overzealousness, inadvertently fed into Justin's burgeoning delusion of a special connection. The nature of Justin's interactions then took a stark and alarming turn. He began requesting explicit images from the young teenager. This crossed an undeniable line, transforming his persistent attention into overt harassment. Wisely, Ava blocked him on all her social media platforms in early 2020, attempting to sever the connection and create a boundary. For a time, there might have been a sense of relief, a belief that the digital door had been firmly shut on his unsettling advances. However, Justin's obsession was not so easily deterred. He later sent a letter, accompanied by $500 in cash, apologizing and claiming he was broke. A confusing, contradictory gesture that only highlighted his erratic and increasingly concerning state of mind. The fragile peace was irrevocably broken on July 10, 2021. In the pre-dawn stillness at approximately 4:30 a.m., Eric Rohan Justin arrived at the Majury family home in Naples, Florida. He was not merely a disgruntled fan. He was an armed assailant prepared for a violent confrontation. His appearance spoke of chilling premeditation. He carried a shotgun, wore safety glasses for protection, an orange Walmart vest perhaps intended as a crude disguise or an attempt to appear official, and protective earplugs. Each item was a deliberate choice, a piece of a horrifying plan he had set in motion, driven by an obsession that had festered in the dark corners of the internet and now manifested on their doorstep, threatening to obliterate their sense of security and peace. The sanctity of their home was violated with shocking brutality. Justin raised his shotgun and blew a gaping hole through the front door. The explosive sound ripped through the quiet morning, a terrifying announcement of his presence. In that moment of chaos and terror, a small, almost unbelievable detail emerged. His weapon jammed. This malfunction, a random twist of fate, likely prevented an even greater tragedy from unfolding immediately, offering a sliver of time in the midst of an otherwise meticulously planned assault. It was a brief, almost imperceptible pause in the terrifying crescendo of violence, a moment that might have made all the difference in the harrowing minutes that followed. Inside, the Majury family was thrust into a fight for survival. Ava, then only 15, reacted with instinct, fleeing the immediate danger and seeking refuge in her brother's bedroom. Her father, Rob Majury, a retired police lieutenant, drew upon his years of training and experience. His primary instinct was to protect his family. While shielding them, he managed to make a desperate call to 911. his voice likely strained with the urgency of the life-or-death situation unfolding within his own home. The call was a lifeline, an appeal for help against an intruder who had brought lethal intent to their very threshold, turning a suburban sanctuary into a scene of unimaginable fear. Rob Majury confronted the armed intruder. He initially gave chase when Justin attempted to flee, but in the process, Rob sustained an injury to his knee. This allowed Justin to temporarily slip away, disappearing into the darkness. Undeterred by his injury, Rob returned to the breached front door, now a gaping wound in their home's defenses. He stood guard, armed with his personal firearm, a father making a desperate last stand to protect his loved ones. Justin, however, was not finished. He returned, and despite Rob's clear commands to drop his weapon, he advanced. Faced with an imminent threat, Rob Majury fired his weapon, fatally wounding Eric Rohan Justin. The siege was over, but the trauma was just beginning. In the immediate aftermath of the fatal shooting, the actions of Rob Majury came under scrutiny, as is standard in such cases. However, Florida's Stand Your Ground law provides legal protection for individuals who use deadly force when they reasonably believe it is necessary to prevent imminent death or great bodily harm. Consequently, Rob Majury was not prosecuted and faced no legal repercussions for his actions on that terrifying morning. He had acted to defend his family from a clear and present danger. His words resonated with the stark reality of the situation. "Someone came to kill me," he stated. "I was in fear for my family's life, and I had to do what I had to do to protect my family." The law affirmed his right to make that terrible choice. The police investigation into the incident uncovered further disturbing details about Eric Rohan Justin's obsession. Authorities found 2 mobile phones in his possession at the scene. These devices were loaded with countless pictures and videos of Ava, a digital shrine to his fixation. It painted a clear picture of a young man whose online infatuation had spiraled into a dangerous, all-consuming delusion. Justin's father, a software engineer, expressed profound confusion and sorrow upon learning of his son's actions and demise. "He was a nice kid," he lamented. "I'm at a loss for words. I don't know what went bad with him. He made a bad choice." These words highlighted the tragic, often unexplainable nature of such descents into violence. The violent intrusion and its fatal conclusion left indelible scars on the Majury family's life. Their home, once a place of safety and comfort, became a site of trauma. The local residents association asked them to leave, a decision that, while perhaps understandable from a community perspective seeking to move past the event, compounded the family's displacement and distress. They were forced to find a new house, to rebuild their sense of security in an unfamiliar environment. Ava, understandably, could no longer attend her school amidst ongoing safety concerns. She transitioned to remote learning and homeschooling, her world contracting as the family grappled with the pervasive fear that the online world could once again breach their physical one. The fear was not unfounded. The end of Eric Rohan Justin's life did not mean the end of threatening behavior from the darker corners of the internet. The family continued to face disturbing approaches from online followers, a chilling reminder that Justin was not an isolated case, but perhaps a symptom of a wider issue. In one particularly unsettling instance, a registered sex offender contacted them, offering $1,000 for Ava's phone number. This further underscored the persistent dangers lurking online for young people with a public profile. Rob Majury openly expressed his regret for not taking the initial threats from Justin with the gravity they warranted, a poignant admission of the difficulty in discerning credible danger from the noise of online interactions until it's tragically too late. The ordeal with Eric Rohan Justin was not the only stalking threat the Majury family would face. In December 2021, mere months after the fatal attack, Ava reported a second individual. This person was a classmate, someone who moved in her physical proximity, allegedly stalking her. More disturbingly, it was alleged that this classmate had been in communication with Eric Rohan Justin, potentially providing him with personal information and even assisting in planning the July attack. The family's sense of security, already shattered, was dealt another severe blow. This classmate further stoked their fears by posting a video of himself online, firing a gun, a message that felt both direct and menacing to Ava and her parents. The Majurys sought legal protection, filing for an injunction against the classmate, citing harassment and stalking. The case went to court in March 2022. Ava, still grappling with the trauma of the previous year, had to testify against this individual. She She recounted his unsettling behavior at school, his constant, unnerving presence, and the disturbing messages he had sent her. One such message, she claimed, was from Justin himself, relayed through the classmate, containing a horrifying implication of rape. Despite her testimony and the family's deep concerns for her safety, the judge ultimately dismissed the case against the classmate. The Majury family, perhaps exhausted by the legal battles and the emotional toll, decided not to pursue further legal action in this specific instance. Despite the unimaginable trauma and the ongoing safety concerns, Ava Majury, with the support of her parents, made the courageous decision to remain active on social media. Her TikTok account, which had been temporarily suspended in the wake of the events, was eventually restored. She chose not to retreat entirely from the platform that had, in many ways, been the genesis of her ordeal. Instead, she and her family saw an opportunity to use her significant presence to warn others about the potential dangers of online fame and the insidious nature of stalking. It was a bold move, transforming her victimhood into a platform for advocacy and awareness, though one fraught with its own complexities and emotional challenges for a young woman still healing. Reflecting on their journey, Ava's mother, Kimberly Majury, acknowledged the difficult path they had chosen. "We chose what's best for our family," she stated. "We know there are going to be two sides and some people won't understand." Her words captured the unique and often isolating experience of families thrust into the public eye by tragedy. Rob Majury echoed this sentiment, suggesting that allowing Ava to continue her social media presence, on her own terms, could be an integral part of her healing process. "I think we just had to allow her to make a decision and sort of support her," he said. "I think it's going to help her heal." Even now in 2025, years after the attack, Ava continues to navigate her public life, receiving sponsorship offers and interest from reality TV producers, a young woman forever changed, striving to find her way forward.